What's up everybody, thanks for joining the channel. In this video I'm comparing the Google Pixel 5a 5G with the Apple iPhone 12. Let's go ahead and get started. So the Pixel 5a 5G is Google's newest budget-minded all-around great Pixel phone, and it finally has 5G. It can be had for $450. The Apple iPhone 12 is the first generation of 5G iPhones, and this phone comes in at a price tag of $800. So I'm going to run down the specs pretty much of comparing these two devices, and at the end of the video I'm going to find out what makes each phone better than the other, what makes it a better value, which one should you pick up, where are its faults, and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's start off with availability. The Pixel 5a is only available in the US and in Japan. So right there, that's a big bummer right there. It's supposed to appeal for a lot of people, but it's not going to reach a lot of people. And it's also not available on prepaid carriers such as Metro or Cricket or Boost or anything like that. So you're kind of stuck at that $450 price point. If it were on prepaid, you can get this phone for probably free or $50. The iPhone 12 is pretty much available everywhere in the world, but it does have that price tag of $800. So it's kind of hard to stomach right there, but it is Apple's flagship. It is the go-to device. And to me, the Pixel 5a is pretty much the go-to device if you're going to get a Google phone. The Pixel 6 hasn't been launched yet, but that one is rumored to be very expensive. So I really believe that the Pixel 5a 5G is going to be the best Android phone you could get for $450 if you want a flagship level type device and you don't want to spend a lot of money. So think of it as half the price of the iPhone 12. So price wise, Pixel 5a is good. iPhone 12, yes, it's more expensive. Both of these phones represent the new contemporary 5G world. There's no excuse not to get a 5G phone nowadays. If you are going to get a new phone, please let it be a 5G phone. Although LTE and 4G is still prevalent today, but you might as well just jump on it if you're in a great 5G coverage area. So the Pixel 5a 5G finally gets speed behind its back on the A series, and that's where I really focus my attention. The A series of Pixels is pretty much your go-to if you want to get a great Pixel device. And the iPhone 12 is finally in the 5G world. It's always slow to adapt new technologies, but it's finally here, and it does have pretty much every band covered if you cop the iPhone 12. Pixel 5a weighs in at 6.4 ounces, which is less than the iPhone 12 5.8 ounces. So lightweight devices here. Build quality. The Pixel 5a has an aluminum frame, aluminum back, so not too shabby. iPhone 12 has that glass back and aluminum frame, so very sexy right there. But if you're like me, I don't really care too much about build quality because I slap a case on the phone anyways. A cheap TPU case just to prevent scratches and dings here and there, practical reasons. So it's a tie right here, but one's $450, the other one is $800. Next is the SIM card. Not a lot of people talk about this, but both of these phones offer an eSIM. Both of these phones are eSIM capable, and not a lot of phones have that. What that means is that you could have two different SIM card phone numbers, two different data plans, two different carriers, or you could activate service without needing a physical SIM card. And it's very rare to see that. Not a lot of phones have that. Only Pixels, iPhones, and higher end Samsungs. So it's not too important if you don't travel that much, but if you do, this is something that sets these devices apart. But it's nice to see a $450 device have 5G and have that eSIM capability. The iPhone, you're paying for it, it's $800. Both of these phones have a flagship level spec with the dust and water resistance. Both are dust and water resistance. You have IP67 on the Pixel 5a, IP68 on the iPhone 12. You can dunk the Pixel for 1 meter for 30 minutes and the iPhone 12 at 6 meters for 30 minutes. That's a feature that I really don't, I always look over. It doesn't really matter to me because I don't keep my phone around water. I keep it away. I've never had a phone get damaged because of water. But if you are the type that hang around the pool or outdoors and it rains a lot where you live, or if you have kids and they like to play with your phone and have it near water or the sink or something like that, it might be something you could think about. But both of these, but the iPhone 12 will have that better water resistance. But one is $450, the other one is $800. Next is the display. The Pixel 5a has a 6.3-inch display, iPhone 12 6.1-inch display. So similar size screens, not too big, but not too small either. They both have 60 hertz refresh rates, which is pretty much standard to me. I really don't mind having a 60 hertz refresh rate, although it's nice to have 90 or 120 hertz if you could have it. The only phones that offer true value with that hertz, with the refresh rate, is OnePlus, which offer very cheap phones with 90 hertz. But both of these are 60 hertz, and I'm okay with that. Well, you know, you're paying 60 hertz at $450 or 60 hertz at $800. You know, it's obvious which one is a better value in the screen department. But regardless, both of these will be pleasing to the eye if you're not really into that refresh rate thing. Resolution on both of these phones are going to be very similar as well, 1080p basically. You got 415 ppi on the Pixel, 460 ppi on the iPhone 12. So anything over 400 is pretty good in my book, except one is half price than the other. And a little bonus on the Pixel 5a is that it has always on display, so you can interact with the device, look at messages and notifications while it's sitting on a desk, for example. The iPhone doesn't have that. Obviously, let's talk about software. Both of these are very good at their respective software. You got the newest Android 11 on the Pixel 5a, soon to be Android 12, and you have iOS 14 on the iPhone 12 with the soon to be released iOS. I'm sorry, it's iOS 14 right now, and it's going to get the iOS 15 update soon. These phones are very similar to each other because they get fast updates on day one when they get released, and we'll get several years of updates. Apart from that, obviously one is Android, one is iOS, but for most people, they're both going to run. All your popular apps are going to be on both platforms. You know, all your popular games, all your popular apps, YouTube, WhatsApp, Disney Plus, Netflix, all that good stuff. Most apps you'll find on both platforms, so it's not a big deal. For the chipset, you got a Snapdragon 765G on the Pixel 5a, Apple A14 Bionic on the iPhone 12. Both of these are very snappy processors, and they will run pretty much 99% of the apps out there with no problem. And the only thing about the Pixel is that it might not do super high-end gaming or video editing. A lot of heavy video editing probably won't work very well, but most people won't notice it, and 99% of people will be happy. The iPhone will run pretty much every program app out there, no problem. Now for the storage, the Pixel 5a comes in at 128 gigs. The iPhone 12 starts off at 64 gigs. So you're obviously going to be better off storage-wise with the Pixel 5a. At $450, you're getting double the memory for half the price. I think you could still survive on 64 gigs, especially since these are 5G phones. We're going to be streaming everything. We're not going to keep everything local on the device, especially since both of these do not have a micro SD card slot. So it's good that they have 5G. It's good that they that we could stream everything. You know, my suggestion is a lot of people should just delete a lot of their videos or cut or edit them shorter and remove blurry pictures and all that good stuff. Try to keep them clean. As with movies and downloading music and all that stuff, you could offload them to your device, but then you could delete it later, update it. So yeah, storage shouldn't be a problem on either of these devices. As for RAM, the Pixel 5a has 6 gigs of RAM, which is more than enough for Android. You shouldn't have any problems right there with several apps in the background. iPhone 12 has 4 gigs of RAM, and that's more than enough for iOS. iOS is very efficient at running RAM. Now for the cameras, I'm going to just basically say both of these phones are great devices for taking pictures and videos. The Pixel 5a has a double camera in the back, 12 megapixel main shooter, 16 megapixel ultra wide. iPhone 12 has 2 megapixel cameras in the back. One of them is ultra wide as well. Both shoot in 4K. You're getting a lot of bang for your buck on the Pixel 5a in the camera department. Smooth video in the daytime, and in the nighttime you're gonna take great pictures. Same thing with the iPhone 12, best in class. You won't be disappointed. It's kind of a tie in the camera department. Both of these are awesome, but one is really cheap at $450. It has a flagship level camera, the 5a, at $450, so half the price of the $1,000, $800 phones out there. The selfie camera, the Pixel 5a has an 8 megapixel shooter shooting at 1080p. iPhone 12 megapixel shooter shooting at 4K. I think most people will be satisfied with the great quality of both of these selfie cameras. Bonus on the Pixel 5a is that it has a headphone jack, while the iPhone 12 does not. Me personally, I really don't care if it has a headphone jack. I moved on. I really haven't had a situation where I needed a headphone jack. But it is a bonus if you like to still connect your devices to it. Both of these phones have Bluetooth 5.0, which will happily connect to your wireless speakers, your smartwatch, your smart bands, and your wireless headphones. Both of these have NFC, and that's mostly used for payment services. You got USB Type-C for charging on the Pixel 5a, Lightning port for charging on the iPhone 12. As for unlocking your device, the Pixel 5a has a more reliable, old school fingerprint reader on the back, while the iPhone 12 has a super contemporary Face ID. There's no Touch ID or fingerprint reader on it, but both of these are reliable ways of unlocking your device. It's just a matter of preference. Last but not least is the battery, and the Pixel 5a has taken a huge step up from its predecessor. Pixels have always had terrible battery life, but not anymore. The Pixel 5a started the big battery trend, and it has a 4,680 milliamp battery for the Pixel 5a line, and that's good to hear because now you can finally get 2 days of battery life. The previous other models of Pixels always had terrible battery life. There's been a big detriment, but not anymore. So it competes very good in the battery department, as a feature of a smartphone that's very important. The iPhone 12 has a 2,815 milliamp battery, which sounds small, but iOS is very efficient with their batteries, and this one it won't get 2 days of battery life, but it should get through most of the day. And both of these have fast charging, 18 watts on the Pixel 5a, 20 watts on the iPhone 12. Big difference here to note is that the 5a comes with the charging brick in the box. The iPhone 12 does not, so that's something to consider. So after comparing the specs, what are my thoughts and opinions of both of these devices? Well, for me, I'll give you the 5 things that really stand out to me in a smartphone in general, and I'll go through it. So the price is probably going to be number 1. You know, you can get anywhere from free all the way to like over $1,000. The Pixel 5a is $450, so it wins right away. The iPhone 12 sits at $800, but it is a flagship reliable device, so that price is justified as well. But if you're looking for that value, that $450 is very tempting. Next, a very important thing is camera, and both of these have an awesome camera setup on it. You won't be disappointed by either. But one's $450, the other one is $800. Next is the processor, very important. Is it going to be stuttery? Is your phone going to be able to handle apps? And I'll be glad to say that both of these handle apps like a champ. 99% of people will not notice any type of slowdowns really on the Pixel 5a. The iPhone 12 will pretty much do 100% of the apps out there. Everyday gaming, everyday activities such as WhatsApp, messaging, maps, movies, hotspotting, browsing the web, email, all that good stuff will work in the background, no problem. You won't have any issues. And you could just pretty much do everything you want and really not think about it. But one's $450, the other one's $800. Next thing is storage, and I think this is where the Pixel 5a wins. You got 128 gigs for half the price. The iPhone 12 is more expensive and it comes in at 64 gigs. Now, the one saving grace is that these phones have 5G, and streaming is going to be a big thing, so you don't need a lot of internal storage. But by default, the Pixel 5a wins in that department. Both of these phones have 5G. That's the next technology that's going to be adopted everywhere. So, you're getting the very contemporary features. Both of these are the first versions of their product line that offer 5G. First for the iPhone, and first in the A series for the Pixels. So they're both on par right there, except one's half the price. And last but not least is battery life, and the Pixel 5a really kills it this time. They finally got good battery life. 2 days of battery life goes a long way. That's been the one thing that kept me and a lot of people away from Pixels, and they finally has that. iPhone 12 won't get as much battery life as the Pixel 5a, but it will get you most of the day, and that's still pretty good in my book. But other than that, what are the other differences between these two? Now, obviously, I'm leaning heavily towards the Pixel 5a 5G, but that's only if you do not mind not having iPhone iOS exclusive apps such as iMessage, FaceTime, AirDrop, and iMovie, for example. And as long as you're cool with not having those things, you should be totally fine picking up the Pixel 5a. All the apps are going to be available on both app stores, and that price point at $450 is not too bad. Yes, you're getting a lot for that money. You're getting basically a flagship level phone for only $450. I think that's the best Android phone you could get. The iPhone 12, it just stands the test of time. Every iPhone will be reliable. You know what you're gonna get, and they last a long time as well. But you know, one's $450 and one's $800, but you know, they're both gonna last at least 3 years, and the iPhone 12 even longer. So both of these have their quirks, but I don't see a lot of negatives in either of these. There's so many positives in the Pixel. It just is, you know, I can't really think of any. Well guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.